Hello, my name is Alan, and today I'm facilitating the fourth of 8 sessions of Uncharted Worlds. We are playtesting the available draft of the second edition, with some little bits added in by me to fill the gaps that the second edition playset hasn't quite reached yet. So this is a space opera game in which we are playing in a relatively constrained cluster of 7 star systems. The players have helped create those. And that's all I'm going to say about the setting, because we'll pick that up as we play forward. This game, like most of my games, is organized as part of the Gauntlet online community's monthly calendar. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, please search Gauntlet-RPG. And if you like what you find, you can even back us on the Patreon and get a bit of priority access to the games that we play. We regularly have 100 a month up on the calendar. So, come see what we're offering. If you want to put your toe in the waters, then the weekend of the 24th to 27th, starting on the Thursday, I think, of March, is the next Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend. Registration for that opens next on the 1st of March at midday Eastern Seaboard time. So mid-late afternoon in Europe. And other times are available around the world because we are a global community. So if you go search Gauntlet-RPG or look for Gauntlet on Twitter, you will find various links, and follow those links to find Gauntlet Community Open Gaming and come try playing with us in one shots across that weekend. Okay, enough of the PR cell. Let's get back to our game. So one of our players was missing last time, so we've got a little bit of reintegration to do. But let me begin with Joe. Joe, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, introduce us to Gema, and tell us what you remember about last time in terms of Gema and a certain cargo pallet, perhaps. You are muted.
Of course I am. So if my audio acts up again, let me know. The headphones I was using apparently are dead. So just let me know if it acts up.
That sounds much better than when you started.
Perfect. Okay. I just had to kick it, I guess. So hi, my name is Joe. Excuse me, he, him. I'm playing Gema, who is sort of an AWOL from a military order of mercenaries. She has left that order, abandoned / I think we are fully abandoned and betrayed now at this point. So last time, if I remember correctly, we hightailed it out of the system we were in and went to the hub, the main sort of like core system. And we ended up deciding to take a job, a slightly under the board job, I believe. We wanted to, we were channeling our inner Harper and took a risky, slightly illegal job. And we have a cargo of something alive. We don't exactly know what it is. We ran into some thugs trying to get the cargo to our ship. We mostly successfully navigated that, if I remember correctly. And now I believe we ended on ship, basically, if I remember correctly. So.
Great. Just one thing, Joe, you said Gema, she then. You've got they, them on the character sheet.
They, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I doesn't really matter, but that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Gray, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, introduce us to Riley Perihelion.
Hi, my name is Gray. My pronouns are they, them, and I am playing Riley Perihelion, who is a former science celebrity who fell out of favor after becoming obsessed with a certain fringe theory about the slipstream. So last session, after we left the neon washed undercity of Hub with our zoological cargo, we spotted on the scanners a very interesting point in space that seemed to have some resemblance to some of the properties of slipstream. And so we went and investigated and have retrieved this microscopic particle that is very strange and slipstreamy. And Riley even now is studying it in the laboratory.
In the week since we were last together, Riley has done nothing but study this in their workshop. Sorry, let me just put do not disturb on my phone. There we go. So that's where we got to, and the last we saw the ship was entering the slip gate to Zandora, which is where this 2 meter by 2 meter by 3 meter cargo container with something alive in it is being transported with a dodgy custom certificate. No, actually, we arrived at Zandora. I will pick that up after we flash back. But Harper, you're on board the ship. You've left the hub with the others. But I have prepared a love letter. While the others were scrounging up an illegal cargo for shipment, what were you doing, Sure Shot? Make your shore leave roll to find out how it started. And that's on the basic moves tab. I can't remember. You don't have, well, you do have a downtime modification, but you may want to get onto that. But in terms of the roll 2d6 and let's see how shore leave started for you.
Let's take a look. Slightly better than last time. It's 7.
Okay, on a 7 to 9, choose an opportunity. The GM will introduce it. You will recover. So if you have any stress on your character sheet, you can reduce it by 1. If you have any equipment, no, you just recover once. So that's it. Or you could repair some equipment if that's got damaged. So which of those are you intrigued by?
The GM will introduce it. Help wanted. The GM will prompt you about the local. I think a help wanted.
Okay.
As a lead.
You've got a lead on a new mission or opportunity. Now, because this is a love letter, I'm not going to generate that. I want us to see Harper doing something he wants to do. So what opportunity presents itself during your time on Hub, Harper?
I'm just really curious. Do we want Harper to be constantly on the ship, or can I leave the ship and do something else?
You're certainly not on the ship. You're on the surface of Hub. You landed in the shuttle. The others have gone off in search of a business opportunity, leaving you at a loose end. We'll do this entirely narratively with a single dice roll. So just tell me what opportunity you want to encounter.
So as it happens, Harper ran to a representative of the future who is a delegate on Hub to maintain relationship. And he was tasked with delivering this very normally looking suitcase to the refueling station in Zandora and passing it, no questions asked, to a contact over there.
Can we pin this down to an opportunity on a Hub? Because what I want to avoid is interfering with the plot we've got going at the minute.
Okay.
So it's something that happened on Hub that we're going to resolve with a single dice roll.
Of course. Well, Harper got the opportunity from the same future representative to steal something from one of the sub-companies represented by the letter R, who has an office on the Hub. And I was tasked with acquiring some suitcase from their office and delivering to this future representative to make sure that they are not, doing a side business or other stuff, and they couldn't do it themselves. So they need my particular skills.
Okay, so it says, describe what you did next. and what happened to you, then roll plus the most appropriate stat. So we know what's going to happen. Describe the break, how you go about doing this.
Yeah, I think we see Harper on the roof, like opening the air vent, and then in his like stealth suit on the rope, going down in the like air vents, and then like crawling, because we obviously all of the air vents are like big enough for a human, so he's crawling through the air vents. Probably he like stuns one of the guards who was like at the door. Then he hacks like a high-tech panel and gets into some weirdly, how do you call it? There's a laboratory protected by the airlock that you have to get into. Yeah, and then we see him leaving the place. Not
before we get to leaving, let's roll the dice and see how it went.
Yeah.
So I think you're rolling plus precision, because this is stealth and agility you're describing.
It's a 5 + 2. It's a 7.
Oh, close run thing. 7 to 9. It goes okay. Describe how it plays out and mark the relevant XP trigger. So you're gonna succeed. So you're gonna mark the relevant XP trigger, but describe how you get out and how that turned. Or you can either mark the relevant XP trigger or gain 1 cred or gain 1 favor with future.
About the cred, because I'm like really curious, because we didn't talk about it on the scraping by. On the very left of it, it says spending money creds 2. So do we like reset to 2 every session? Like what is it?
No, that's your starting cred, and then you can always withdraw cred from the ship at the cost of something on the ship. So you can sell stuff if you need some cash money, you can always hawk some stuff off the ship. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, we don't have much of a shopping list in the play test. So whether individual cred, other than a little bit of up and down, matters, I'm not certain to you. But some people like to collect money.
In that case, I think since there are so many ors, I think I will go for the or plus favor with future.
Okay.
The most worthy of this rewards.
Fine. And their representative meets you at a location, a discrete location. There's an exchange, and thank you, Harper. We owe you 1.
Always looking forward to future to help future forward its agenda.
Yeah, I'm hoping someone's going to start spending some favor, or maybe I need to start bringing some betrayal to the table. So then we cut back to, so previously we've had all of that. We now cut fast forward to you've got through customs at the Zandora high station. And you've been given a coordinate on the planet where you need to land this cargo. So I'm imagining we're in the shuttle, and because the technology here is not great, it's kind of 21st century, I guess, is the way I imagine it. But its ethos is very much old world. I'm building that entirely on the single session that we spent with somebody from Zandora. And so you know where you need to land this cargo. And the instructions are that you need to land it there, and it's going to be shipped across country to wherever it's going to go. Yeah. Who's our pilot? I can't remember.
Was Riley, were you piloting at least? Or maybe I was, because you were doing all the sciencey stuff. I can't remember. Well, clearly
I think we both did at various points, because we have similar hardware stats.
Yeah, it's hardware or mind, generally speaking, I think, to make stuff work.
Harper enjoys sitting in the captain chair that is behind the pilot chair, so that's his sweet spot.
And you can see Zandora behind me. It is one, I mean, this system is odd because as well as the Zandora homeworld, the main world, there are two other planets in a very similar orbit. Clearly, these were not naturally developed. There is no physics that explains. Riley could tell you all about this, but there is no physics that explains how the Zandora system arose naturally. The prevailing theory in the cluster is that the precursors, whoever they were, whoever built the slip gates, moved planets and or terraformed them from scratch. Nobody's quite certain, but they're all in that Goldilocks part of the system where life is sweet, and they are the food. They are the breadbasket of the cluster, the Zandora worlds. But you're landing on the main world, and in the middle of the plains, as you come in low, as Riley is bringing you in low, towards the beacon that is operating to tell you where to land. You know, literally none of you, I think, have seen this much open space. What's your reaction to this, Gema? Because, you know, this bears little resemblance to Narcissus.
Yeah, so like, especially, so yeah, Narcissus is wasteland, basically, right? And so, yeah, so she's pretty, I think she's pretty, and it's different, obviously, because the hub, I think we kind of established is a little more like almost like an entire city planet. It's just very, you know, so I think she's a little bit like, how's the right word I'm looking for? Not enthralled, but like she's kind of amazed at it, right? Like it's sparking like, wow, this is pretty awesome, sort of amazing, like, because it's so different than so lush and so free, kind of, and open. You almost get a sense that somebody could live here and not be bothered by anybody if they wanted to.
Yeah, that's the sense you get, that it could be the perfect place to be isolated. Harper, we know that a principal part of your homeworld on Quantum Prime is it's got plenty of space architecture. It's got a space elevator. It's got loads of stations, but we've not heard much about the world. How is this view behind me different from what Quantum Prime is like?
I think it's different because on Quantum Prime you do see grass and fields, but they are like operated by huge automated, controlled by human machinery. So it's like the view behind you is like manual. All the farming is done manually. On Quantum Prime, it's like even like there's like a spaceship hanging over the field, like collecting stuff like pipes and stuff. So we do have these views. They are just slightly futuristic,
and presumably less wild.
Of course, yeah, because everything is like, you know, partitioned into like squares so that everything can be picked up, grown perfectly, and, you know, mathematical equations are being developed. So everything is like in order and not so wild.
Great. What about you, Riley?
This is what the old poets say that memory was supposed to look like before the disaster.
Oh my. So you know, what does the audience see, Riley, that just communicates this, I don't know, a sense of longing, a sense of loss?
I think Riley like looks at the view and quotes some poetry.
Yes. Lovely. Because yeah, Pomona was the world before it all went to shit. Okay, lovely. And so you're coming down, and what you can see below you is a small township with what looks like a railway station, you've read about those. Indeed, I'm guessing, Harper, that the Quantum Prime probably has these running on maglev cushions and stuff, or they're buried under the ground somewhere. But this looks like a railhead in the middle of nowhere, and there's not really a proper landing pad, but there's an area outside the town or near the railhead, I guess, where it is possible to land, where the beacon is broadcasting from. And yeah, people come out and you see people look it up as the shuttle comes into land, Riley. Okay, what do you do after you've landed then?
I have a question.
Harper?
What is a railhead?
Oh, sorry, a railhead is just I'm lifting that from the Old West because I'm struggling to get that out of my head. So I've lifted that Americanism, I think. Gray, Joe, can you help?
I think it would be like, if you imagine, what I'm imagining is maybe if you think about a Western, I don't know if you're very familiar with traditional Westerns, but when you go and there's just like a building, like a small depot, like a small, and the track just goes off into the distance both ways. And here's this little station kind of out in the middle of, it's not quite out in the middle of nowhere. It's on the outskirts of this town, and stuff. But yeah, it's just a small, obviously I'm steeped, Gray as well, probably steeped in our DNA of what that would look like. So I immediately have this picture of, but maybe a slightly more modern version. We're not talking about steam engines, but probably, if it's late 21st century, it might be bullet train type looking thing, but so just kind of a lone building out there, waiting for a train.
And a quarter of a mile, a half a mile over there is this township with maybe a couple of thousand inhabitants.
Awesome.
Does that help?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Who does what? Because I think you'll see someone coming from the station, the depot. Someone kind of coming towards the ship, Riley.
Well, I think I'm gonna. I see these people standing around, so I'm going to step off the shuttle like, oh, this is my crowd of admirers.
Okay.
Like, hello, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm sure you're glad I'm here too. Here in the
is this a conscious effort to create an impression, perhaps?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think let's see how impress goes then when you impose your presence, because that's what that sounded like. Hey, look at me. Roll plus force.
Oh boy, my force is -1.
Okay, you push too far and they push back. And I think the station master, in a peaked cap and a uniform, marches towards and says, "Who the hell are you?"
Oh, Riley Perihelion, at your service, here in the wonderful, unusual system of multiple engineered bio-growing worlds.
And what the hell have you put this great monstrosity down near my railway station?
Well, we're just shipping some cargo. We have this permit here. I think someone's supposed to meet us.
And he has a clipboard. And he says, "You got some livestock to ship?"
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, let me look at it.
I sort of
Gema,
should have glanced backwards at the rest of the crew before
what are you doing? Harper, what are you doing?
Harper seems like a fun boy, and he actually runs to them and he says, "I'm sorry, sir, do you have real horses that man can ride, like a real horse, like a real animal over here.
And the station master looks straight past Harper to Riley. I think what I'm going to play this as is social interaction with these people, with the station, is going to be at disadvantage until something changes the kind of fiction. So he says, "Boy, get out of my way. You got a shipment. I need to see the shipment." Gema, what are you doing?
So I think I guess I'm envisioning, the shuttle, Riley's kind of approached the group, and then Harper's kind of all excited about the Wild West and whatnot. And I think at that point, Gema just kind of casually comes down off. I'm imagining maybe like a ramp or whatever it is behind them, and she's in her armor and she's casually holding the assault weapon. And just comes and just stands at the entrance to the shuttle where they can see her. Doesn't say anything, but kind of casually, just looking menacingly dangerous. So,
what do you? Well, I mean, so yeah, I need to know whether this shifts them back away from disadvantage in a different direction, or whether this escalates the way they feel. So let me think.
Could we maybe, is there a vanguard move in here somewhere with or is this more of just a straight up?
I think this is about the impression you create. So I think this is seek opportunity more than anything else.
Okay.
But I think it is seek opportunity. I think it's with force. You're trying to impress these people with the fact that you can kill them all.
And that perhaps they don't need, this is not the cargo you're looking for.
Well, yeah, maybe that's, yeah. But I think that you are going to be rolling with disadvantage because they are not currently predisposed to this crew.
Okie doke. All right, so let's just see. 3 dice. And I'm +2 on force, so 13.
So I'm going to force you to discard one of those 6s.
Hopefully this is an omen of good things, good rolls to come. Not that I've spent the one good roll that we have.
Okay,
time.
the disadvantage is gone. And the station master holds up his hands. He says, "Okay, I'm not looking for any trouble here, but I just need to see what you've got to ship." And he's now very focused on Riley as perhaps the civilized one. I didn't mean to cause no offense.
Right this way, sort of a.
And the way the cargo works is that you have a cargo container that you ferry back and forth to the ship in the shuttle. And of course it has you can open it and it has a ramp and he can get on board to look at what it is. Now, one thing we didn't tell Harper, or we didn't tell Pavel that Harper will know, is that in getting this live transportee back to the ship, you were attacked by a gang. Gema saw them off, but not before they damaged the feed, water, and sedation system on the side of the container that this thing's being transported in. And so, since you've come down, the fact that it is awake, fully awake, is now very clear, Riley. And you can hear it bang, bang, bang on the side of the container. And the station master, and he says, "You expect to put that on my train?"
Well, once our contact shows up, I'm sure that they will have additional feed and sedation pods. It should settle right back down.
Well, I don't know. It says here I just got to load a container, but I ain't putting that on my train.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we can figure something out here.
I mean, you travel with it. Maybe I'll put it on my train, but I ain't putting that on my train any other way. Harper?
I think you got yourself a deal. Just get me a horse and I will ride after your train and I will make sure it gets whatever it needs. Just get me the horse.
Um, uh, that appears to be the deal that's on the table, Riley, is that he will put it on his train, but not without an escort.
Seems reasonable to me.
And you know, he's looking past you at Gema, you know, giving some of the side eye to Gema in terms of what's the, because she looks like a young woman. She looks like a kid practically. And he's looking and thinking, what's the kid gonna do? He'll drive out, you know, combustion engine, flatbed, and then you just use the rollers on the bottom of the container to just maneuver it onto the back of the flatbed, and he delivers it. He parks the flatbed beside the track. The train's due tomorrow. So how are you going to, I don't know, how do you want to spend the tonight? Gema, let's start with you. What plan, if any?
Do we feel like the cargo's safe? Just leaving it beside the track all night?
I don't know. Do you think it's safe leaving the cargo beside the track on its own all night?
I guess I do not. So I think, you know, I'm not interested in going into town and, you know, interacting with people or anything. So I'll at least say I'm going to stay and watch the cargo thing, or the pod, or whatever we call it. And I do love that we've gone full Western with referring to her as them as the kid. So that's good. So
Harper, what about you? Do you have any plans for how you'd like to spend this evening?
Of course, I heard that they have this like weird saloons here with live music, and I'm going to head there, partially to party, partially to ask around. Maybe they have animal doctor who might have a large bottle of sedation that we can buy off, or ask him to use it, something like this. So head to the bar, socialize, and learn if they have like an animal doctor here.
Okay, let's start with a vet and end up in the saloon. Riley, what about you?
I think Riley feels a little guilty that because they've been so distracted by other science that this cargo has gotten a little bit out of control. So I think they're going to spend some time trying to figure out, like, what is this thing in this box? Like, I haven't really looked in it before.
No, you've been so fixated on this particle that you managed to find and bring aboard. So examine, I think, is what I'm imagining here. So the rest of the afternoon, and then maybe rendezvous with Harper if Harper comes back with something from the vets. Who knows? So when you analyze a subject or anomaly, roll plus mind.
All right, so that's 7 + 2 is 9.
9. On 7+, choose a line of questioning. There's a set of bullet points there that I will read as broadly as I can.
All right. So my options are a flaw or weakness, its cause or origin, its purpose or value, its expected behavior. So I'm wondering if I could investigate a flaw or weakness in the sense of how can we safely calm this thing down?
Okay. It is a dangerous predator. I cannot but now have in my mind a kind of velociraptor, or a small T-Rex. That's what's in my mind. And none of this modern feathered variety, right? This is a pucker dinosaur from my childhood. I think that as you know, because there were vents and there were holes in the top. You just haven't paid much attention to it. And I think as you look in there, it is possible that it might be susceptible to certain calming sonics. Yeah.
Cool.
But on a 7 to 9, introduce a threat the subject presents. Well, it's fairly obvious that it presents a threat. But I think what you notice that is, since it's been awake, the bolts that secure the sides of this container are clearly under some strain. You know, this was designed to transport a sedated animal,
right?
And it's been awake since before you got it to the orbital station, I think. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's cut to Harper heading into town. How do people dress, Harper, on Zandora? Or how is their dress different from Iota Prime, the Quantum Prime?
Quantum Prime. Merchant Honorable. I think let's stay with the Western. Like everyone is wearing a cowboy hat. They have this like Western shirts, the cross pattern, of course. And men are wearing this like trousers. I think it's like from the rodeo, who had like little ropes coming out of them, like the rodeo cowboy pants. I'm not sure like how to even describe it. Do you know what I mean?
Like a lasso, like where they have like the coiled up rope hanging on them.
I mean the trouser. Yeah, let's stay with this because I don't even know how to begin to describe it. So they are like fully cowboy. And while Harper dresses somehow like this, his fabric is like, it's clearly not natural fabric. It's like manufactured fabric, and it's like he feels like he's pretending to look like them, but looks like a manufactured copy.
I mean, I was meaning to ask actually, because you've got a chameleon suit, haven't you, with some description, a stealth suit. And so far we've kind of described you taking your outer clothes off to reveal this stealth suit. Do you want the stealth suit to just be a button you press on the poncho? I
want it, but it doesn't have the like tag, like camouflage, like something else. Like for example, I think the missing character, they had like clothes that look like something and have like a tag. So I didn't want it to like go with it. Although I'm totally fine. Like they can that my stealth suit can look like normal clothing as well.
Because I'm just having you strip off your clothes every time you want to use that seems a complication too far, but I'm happy to go with it if you are. But yeah, and do you in fact, oh yes, that's true, you also have your downtime move where you could upgrade your suit. I tell you what, let's not think about that now, but keep it in mind because you do have that downtime move.
Yeah, I never seem to be. I'd rather get a new piece of gear than get something else. So I don't know. I will think about it.
Okay. So yeah, and I'm curious, Harper. Do you dress the way you dress? Because they have films about Zandora on Iota. Is it a kind of childhood dream, or is it a anything else? I'm curious.
Yeah, I think there could definitely be movies filmed here on Zandora about some Zandoran sheriffs fighting the outlaws who steal the cows and horses. I mean, yeah.
I love it. Great.
To Harper, they just like, and Harper likes them because it signals to him the freedom, while in the corporate world, you are like under corporate structure. So
yeah. And even though you are to a degree a freelancer, you are still loyal to Future. Future still has a grip on you.
Yeah.
So okay, and a couple of people, they look at you a bit strangely, because I'm thinking that there's the Dude Ranch thing going on. This is the city boy come to the countryside dressed in a way that's kind of like them, but isn't entirely authentic from their point of view. And so people give you, you get some funny looks as you're walking up Main Street.
Of course.
But they'll direct you to the vets, Doc Johnson's, and you're at the vets. What do we see?
Yeah, I think Harper is there, and Harper describes. So, Doctor, I would like to purchase to acquire your services. We have a thing that we need to sedate. It's 2 meter by 2 meters. Probably it's like slightly horse size, maybe like slightly larger. So probably we need something to like sedate it for a day or a day and a half, something like this.
And I think he looks away from where he's just putting a cat into a container, and he kind of looks at you and says, "How big?"
Something like 2 by 2 by 3. I think it's like slightly larger than a horse.
Okay. I'd better come and have a look at it.
Yeah, just bring some good sedative with you if you can. And
okay. And he says, as he's on the way out to his receptionist, "Marcy, I'll be back later." And he'll follow Harper back down to the railhead where Gema is still standing guard, and Riley, you've just finished investigating, the beast inside. And Doc Johnson kind of looks at this container. He says, "That's bigger than a horse."
Like I said, slightly bigger than a horse.
And Riley, I'm imagining you're still on top, kind of looking down through the kind of the holes at the top there.
I'm imagining that as you approach, I'm like up on the top with maybe like a power screwdriver trying to fix the bolts, and there's like some lullaby playing out of a speaker on our ship.
Love it. Gema, Harper's coming back with a stranger.
Yeah, I think she. I'm not quite sure. I think she perks up a little bit and just kind of. I think she's been kind of just like, I don't know if we're close to the railhead building or whatever. She's just been kind of. I almost get the vibe of just sitting. You get the view, sitting on a chair, leaned back against the, kind of just is stuff. But now she kind of wanders over to see what's I think they're a little concerned about, I'm assuming Riley has shared some of what and it's pretty, I mean, at some point it's become pretty obvious that this is not, a docile, pet in here, right? I mean, and so I think there's a sense that they have that too much attention isn't going to be a good thing. So
Harper's brought a vet, and Doc Johnson kind of clambers onto the back of the flatbed and kind of comes up the little kind of ladder built into the side, the end of it, and he's looking at the technology that's been attached to one end of this to provide food and once sedation, and he's looking at that and thinking, how does that work? And it gets to the top and says, and then it kind of hits the side and the container just bangs back and forth. Harper, do you go with him?
Sure. I probably didn't have opportunity to study it from behind, so there are like a tiny little windows that you can look what's actually inside it. Then of course,
yeah, so you can get up on top. So the three of you are up on top. Gema's kind of looking up and looking around, and Gema, I think that it's fair to say that this thing is throwing its weight, from side to side, and just generally, that the whole thing is kind of moving on the flatbed. So Riley, you're hanging on, and Doc Johnson and Harper arrive, and he kind of, holy mother of God, what the hell is that?
Well, we're not entirely sure, but based on my preliminary notes, I think it's some kind of exotic reptiloid, probably a class 7 or even 8. I hypothesize that calming sonics might help it relax a bit. As you
Calming
can see,
sonics. Is that thing legal?
Well, legality is really a matter of the local system, jurisdiction, and the regulatory codes, which, as I'm sure you know, vary widely from place to place based on conditions. And
I think you are speaking truth and lies here, Riley, trying to get him on side. So let's have you face adversity rather. I don't think you're trying to impress him particularly. I think this is a straightforward truth and lies. Or are you? No, I should leave that to you, not tell you.
I don't think I'm trying to impress him. I think I'm just like
baffle him with bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have you face adversity with influence.
All right. That is a 5 + 2 is 7.
A 7. You get one thing you wanted. So okay, he is mollified to achieve, but the GM fully enacts existing dangers or introduces new ones. That's when one of the bolts pops. There are 4 significant retaining bolts on this container, 2 on either side, and then the sides would just hinge down. Harper, you see that happening. What do? The Doc Johnson's in conversation with Riley as this thing containers moving about how best to administer a significant narcotic. What are you doing, Harper?
I think I jumped down from the container. I walked back to our ship and I come with some ropes and I begin like preparing some kind of like a rope that we can like tie it down, probably like wrap it like lasso, hang it by my pants to feel like 100% cowboy, and then have like a 1 more or 2 more lassos get ready. I'm not sure if this will be enough, but yeah.
Okay. So you're aiming to secure this. Now, I think what we'll do is the way we'll play this is that you secure the container as well as you can. And if we reach a critical point where another 1 or 2 of those bolts pop, then we'll determine how good it was. Yeah. I don't want you to know it's gone perfectly until it matters, but you've done the best job you can. I'm imagining face adversity with hardware or mind would be the way I'd be coming at it.
Harper's idea is to like, at some point, I don't know, I was imagining that Harper is preparing to open the container and then sedate it when it's out, because that's how he thinks it must be done. So I'm not securing the container. I'm just like getting ready.
I see. I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
Yeah.
So there's Harper kind of practicing lasso work as he's seen it in the movies. That's going to be delightful. Riley, the consensus seems to be that you are going to need you're going to need to kind of shoot this with a kind of narcotic dart or darts. Now, that is not something that Doc Johnson routinely has, because he's used to putting, cattle and horses to sleep. But usually you get close enough to them to just give them an injection.
Right.
So you're going to have to build something or come up with something. Gema, seeing all this go on, it's fair to say that the station master is giving you a wide berth. So, when you were sitting, leaning back with your feet out on the platform, he, goes around you, tries to avoid, and you can see him talking to a couple of people. So, don't disturb her. But given what's happening with the container, what have you got in mind? Or do you just watch?
I think, so I do think, as I was listening, and we may be past that point, but I think, as Riley was attempting to explain or BS her legality definition, I think, Gema may weigh in to the doc saying, legal or not, I would suggest we sedate it immediately, or as very quickly, because she's seeing, a bolt pops off, and she's like, so I think she's thinking, trying to figure out, what I don't know if they have any way, any like sedating type, like non-lethal methods of, so they're starting to weigh in their head what happens if they have to kill this thing if it gets out, right? So
I'm with you. I think there are, in terms of assets, I think there are some, but none of you have chosen them. There are some kind of non-lethal technologies available to you.
I did have a question though. Would the cryo pistol be able to be used in a like a dialed back way to either could it seal the part that's like starting to, could it seal it, or at least, I mean, I know it's killed on its highest setting. Apparently it does bad things, right? But could we possibly use that to maybe, either try to seal up the container somewhat, or like immobilize? I guess that's the word I was looking for. The thing.
I think that certainly would be an experiment worth trying. The last time Harper actually hit something metallic with this, it caused a leak in a space station. So there is a risk of it freezing too much and becoming fragile. But certainly worth thinking about. Mm-hmm. So Riley, Doc Johnson doesn't have a dart gun. He'd have no use for one, for God's sake.
Do I have some like stuff lying around the workshop? Can I like try and rig something up?
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, the workshop is up there, isn't it?
Oh, right. So I'm going to need to try and gadgeteer with whatever's here on the planet.
You are going to have to work with whatever you can find down here. So Riley, I'm imagining that you and Doc Johnson are heading off to the hardware store to see, because he's saying, well, maybe if I got my biggest needle,
some compressed air and a canister.
Yeah, that might work. So yeah, you're going to have to jury rig something, I think. Cool. Gema, do you want to go with Riley, stay here, or wait to see what Harper's going to do next? Because he is.
I think they are. I think they are watching a little bit like a slightly confused / annoyed, sort of like watching him, do what he's doing. But I think they feel like they probably better stay here. I think their instincts are that there's more downhill to come potentially, right? This doesn't, it feels like we're teetering a little bit on, the edge here.
So do you raise with Harper the question of, if we got buckets of water or something and threw it on the joints of this container, could you freeze the water and maybe seal it up? Is that something you're talking about?
Yeah, I think they are. Obviously Riley has a plan to try to do something to sedate it, and so I think they asked Harper, can you use your freezing, weapon? Is there something you could do to secure the container somewhat?
I mean, and he like takes his like fancy pistol, which is like probably like some kind of mess is coming off of it because it's like constantly freezing some like core or something like that. Well, there is this like smallest setting I could, give it a shot, but the problem is that ice melts, and I just like show around us that we are on a very planet that is probably like 10 to 15 degrees.
Comfortably temperate. Comfortably
Yeah.
temperate, yeah.
And probably tomorrow it will be like 30, so I could freeze it, but it's like temporarily solution. But yeah, I could, if that's your idea, I can try it. I mean, I don't know how to shoot at it. I obviously know how to shoot at it. Yeah, if you want, we can try to freeze the container.
Well, maybe we'll keep that in our pocket if we lose another bolt. Because it would only have to, hopefully it would only have to be temporary until we get it sedated.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So Riley, I'm imagining coming back with Doc Johnson and kind of boxes of stuff, which I think will have cost you a credit.
Sure.
Just to get this together.
Right. That looks like that would put me at -1 credits.
Oh, then you come back with a bill for either Gema or Harper to pay. Who wants to pay the bill, guys?
I've got +2, so I can so just reduce that to +1.
Yeah, Gema is in funds. Cool. And so I imagine you and Doc Johnson maybe on the platform where there's a bit of space, trying to put this together. Now, Riley, the question is, do you want to roll with advantage and take until dusk? Or are you in a hurry and you just want a straight roll to see if this works?
We got to do this thing faster. That thing's going to break out.
Okay. So let's have you move to, well, again, I can't help feeling this is face adversity when you experiment. Roll with mind.
All right.
But before you do, let me ask Gema and Harper. Harper, it's getting a bit boring. The whole lasso thing. It's clearly a lot more difficult than it looks in the movies. And there's all this tinkering going on. Do you want to stay here or go to the saloon?
Harper is a good team player. He knows that something is getting ready. So I actually wanted to socialize with this kind of like a guy who ignored me, the station master. I actually want to go with him and talk and ask him how to do it, how to properly do it. Maybe he can show me the way that true cowboys do it. And what I'm actually aiming at, I'm not sure if learning that it's already. I actually want to ask him, and I hope that he can tell me some spicy story, maybe something about some fallen sleepgate on the planet's surface, or some weird stuff about this planet, something that I can then feed to Riley, because this guy clearly could hear stories, rumors. So yeah, and I'm using this. So how to do it, and trying to learn and talk and socialize with the guy.
Okay, so this sounds like seek an opportunity. And this sounds like socialize, so roll with influence.
That's what I'm doing. So that's a 7.
Oh, well, that gets across. So you find what you were looking for. He says, look, son, I don't, there's lots of stories. Everybody knows stories, about stuff. We're not, we're not hicks here, we know stuff. We know that these planets weren't just occur naturally. And you see some stuff on news stations where they talk about maybe the planets are just big spaceships, and they were moved here. You find what you were looking for, therefore. So there is a theory that these planets are entirely unnatural, that they were constructed, not made from basic cloth, if you like, But you also find an obstacle that stands in the way of getting any further with that. Do you want this to be and again, I don't know if you were here for this, but I've added the resolving a seek opportunity blurb from the playtest. And the bottom line is a harmful, unpleasant location. The player is asking to go somewhere new. A questionable, unsavory act. The player is asking to face a choice. An interposing guardian or defense. The player is asking for an antagonist to defeat. Your burden or someone else's, they are asking for personal stakes. We found that quite useful last time in kind of interpreting how seek opportunity is intended to work when you get to make that choice. So which of those is going to make exploring that idea more difficult?
I definitely think that that a harmful, unpleasant location is sounds like cool, because maybe he can tell us about somewhere where we could learn more, but the location will be quite not so nice as the open grass fields.
I think that's fine. I think that all the stories say that that there's a way into the planet, and he says, you know, maybe this is science fiction, but there's a way inside the planet at the South Pole. I don't know if you set any credence by that. Now, it says on a 7 to 9, find what you seek as 10 plus, but the GM also chooses one from the list or increases the severity. So I think I'm going to say the other thing he tells you is that there have been lots of expeditions go down there, but they don't come back. Okay? Okay.
Perfect.
So I'm just thinking it's 5 past the hour. Before we unleash the sedation, let's take a break. Yeah. I want to make a cup of tea. So shall we be back in our seats at 1/4 past the hour?
Sure.
I'll see you then. So we come back after the commercial break to Riley and Doc Johnson approaching this bang, this container with this. Describe what you've made, Riley.
All right, so we've rigged up a sort of DIY tranquilizer dart gun out of like a big red fire extinguisher, a couple of fishing rods, I think. There might be like something that's unclear whether it's half of a shotgun or like a wheelbarrow handle, and it's just all sort of taped and bolted together.
I like that. And so Riley and Doc Johnson are clambering up the side of the container with this. Gema, where do we see you in this scene?
I think they are. Well, I guess one question that they might ask is, do they want her to administer it? If it's some sort of act of doing that, they might be a little more a little better at, you know.
I was wondering about this too, because like Riley knows that Riley's not a great shot, but that Gema totally is.
Yeah, so I think there's 2 sides to this. I think that this is really as much an experiment as anything else. So I think this is going to be face adversity with mind, but having someone who has precision, I think would put the roll at advantage. So you're always going to be rolling with mind, but it could be a decision about advantage or a flat or not. Does that help determine how that flies?
So is that almost like assisting? Like would Gema be assisting Riley and give? I know there's no official mechanic there, but it's almost like kind of helping Riley. Like, all right, you know, do this.
How to line up the shot, or
So I think it is reasonable for Gema to be at the sharp end, trying to hit it. And that will give Riley advantage for this thing to work.
Cool.
Oh,
Harper,
okay, cool.
what are you doing? Because you've had your conversation with the station manager, station master. Where do we see you in this scene as they're about to try and sedate the large velociraptor?
Yeah, Harper probably comes back from the station master with like a half-empty bottle of a moonshine, and they're like on top, and Harper is like standing here at the bottle, drink. So let me get this straight: you three hide up top, and you want me to release it and be the bait?
Let's do. Riley, roll plus mind with advantage because you have an expert shot pointing it.
Cool.
Oh, I get it. You're shooting like through the hole. Okay. I was missing this part. I was thinking that we are opening it, getting it out, and then shooting.
Well, that is something I think both Riley and Gema are very, as soon as they see you sauntering up to the thing, and we're like, no, don't open it.
All right, so it's a good thing that I had advantage.
So you're going to throw the one away.
Yeah, all right, and that's 6 + 2 for mine is 8.
So that's 8. So I think you get one thing you want to achieve. So I think you hit it, and you are going to sedate it. But the GM fully enacts existing dangers or introduces new ones. And I think that the danger I'm going to enact is that one of the bolts has gone. It's popped. It came under some strain and it's gone. It would take one more of those bolts to go, and one side of this container is going to fall open. So I think that we're just seeing the clock on the danger of this thing going up. But inside, that's because it's thrashing about as you hit it with this thing, Gema. But then it does kind of begin to slow down and boom, goes quiet. And I think it'll stay quiet through the night at least. And Doc Johnson will give you a bottle of the stuff that he's used to put this down, just in case you need to give it another shot during the trip. Yeah? Harper, I am desperate to see you at the saloon that evening. So I'm interested, Gema, given the thing has gone to sleep and Riley and Doc Johnson seem to think it's going to stay out until dawn at least. Are you going to the saloon, or do you want to stay out here by the shuttle and the velociraptor?
I think I'll just say as a player, I'm kind of torn because I think they would stay. I do think they would stay because even though it's asleep, anybody could come and theoretically take this, right? And we haven't really made friendly with the station master, and throughout the day, of course, there were people there with them, whispering and stuff like that. And so, although I get the sense that you are mildly interested in us being at some sort of action, but I feel like they would stay at the.
Let me reassure you a bit, because I think that the fact that Doc Johnson, respected member of the community, got involved in this, and you see him having a word with the station master as you leave, and I'm very happy for the station master to say, don't worry, it'll be safe here. So because I'll be honest with you, I can't see who locally would have an interest in coming after a velociraptor at this point.
So given that, I think Gema wants to stay, but I think I see Harper convince her, sort of like, no, come on, and let's go, it'll be fun, and reluctantly gives in and goes with him to town.
Riley, what about you?
Yeah, I probably get talked into the same thing.
Because unless you want to sleep on the shuttle, the saloon is also the only place in town that would be able to provide bed and breakfast. So yeah, let's cut to the saloon, and we don't need you to describe what this saloon is like, because the audience is already picturing it. It is an Old West saloon. You know, maybe it's got some of the modern accoutrements of a diner, but it has that big open space at the bottom. People are playing cards. There's probably a jukebox in the corner that's playing piano music. There's stairs up to a balcony with some rooms off. So, you know, it fits the bill in all kinds of ways. And this is the only place for miles around for people to come and socialize. So as dusk, you know, as it comes on to dusk, there are lots of people. And Harper, just to make Harper's night, lots of people arrive riding horses from roundabout.
Perfect.
What do you do, Harper?
Yeah, let's jump on the opportunity and let's ride the opportunity. I think I'm talking with one of those as much cowboy looking as cowboy can get, gentleman, and I'm just like, so do you mind to give me like kind of like jump? Can you like give me the lesson of like horse riding? You know, it's like fascinating. I would love to see how it like, you know, really feels like. Do you have like a second horse we can like ride and go around? You know, I would love to.
And I think one of them will say, well, sir, if you want to come out to the ranch tomorrow, I would certainly give you a lesson. He's in town to have a drink and enjoy himself. I don't think he's interested in teaching you to ride tonight. If you're interested, you know, reasonable rates for you city folks.
I wonder how to turn it into a scene.
I just assumed you'd start playing cards with him. You've thrown me a bit. So no, he'll say, okay, I'll give you a ride. Yeah.
No. Harper has his like own superiority, so he thinks, well, if you think you are so far better than me and you're afraid to race me on a horse in the street in the middle of the night, well, so be it. I will tell everyone around that I did it and I won with the real cowboy, the horse racing at night through the city. If you are afraid to do it, no problem.
And I think the jukebox stops playing and everyone looks at Harper making a fuss and the guy says, looks at his friend who's currently says, what do you think? Okay, mister. Make it interesting on the side.
Sure. I can definitely wager which one of us will win this race, of course.
So are you prepared to stake a credit on the outcome of this race?
Of course.
I
already lost it, so yeah.
So let's see how it goes. I think that this is probably, and you know, everyone spills out from the saloon to see the greenhorn, you know, ride the horse. And again, we're kind of in lasso country here because Harper's watched a lot of those movies. And so, you know, he knows how this works, right?
Of course.
So I think you're going to be rolling with disadvantage. I think I have Definitely. To start there. And I think this agility or strength is roll with precision. And I think the bottom line is here, can you keep your dignity intact? If this goes very well, maybe you do more than that.
I think that's perfectly, yes.
Does that seem fair?
My skills, yes.
Okay.
I don't think I keep my dignity.
that is rolling with disadvantage, a 1, a 2, and a 2. So I will force you to throw one of the 2s away. What is your precision? It's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's still but not
Not good enough. Not good enough. So things go sideways painfully. I think, well, I know I'm much more interested in you describing how this goes painfully badly for you, Harper.
Yeah. So I think everything goes smoothly when Harper like gets on the horse, and then we like slowly walk to the like starting line. But then when Harper clearly wants like, and then maybe even as we start, like Harper seems like to be keeping on. But then when we go from the like, I don't know, the horse speeds from the like fast running to the like gallop, I think maybe there comes some like surprised obstacle, and the horse is like trained to jump over, but Harper isn't trained to jump on the horse. So I think he like falls off and like drops somewhere on the streets because yeah, the horse is perfect. It's just Harper, first time, you know. So yeah, I fall from the horse when it's like jumping over some obstacle.
Fine. And I think that
Let's make it epic. A car comes around and the horse jumps like to the like above the back of the car or the front, and then they just like fall off because yeah.
Hit the top of the car, roll off the car. I think we'll mark that as 2 harm. And I'm not sure that any armor is going to. Oh no, you've got high-tech armor, haven't you?
I got my personal energy field, personal shield generator, but I don't feel I don't feel that shield generators works on falling damage.
Okay. So yeah, it kind of it absorbs kinetic energy perhaps from blows or bullets, but yeah. You just hit the car hard and then bounce off onto the ground, and there has to be that point where we see you laid out on the ground looking up, and the horse is looking down at you. With a high degree of pity. And the guy kind of canters back, looks down and says, "Offer of a lesson still open, son."
I'm fine. Thank you. Yeah, it was a pleasure. Oh, yeah.
Riley, Gema, there are games of chance in the saloon, or do you just want to sit quietly, eat a meal, have a drink? Riley, what about you?
I think with a couple of drinks in them, Riley thinks, I failed to impress these people before, but I think what I was missing was karaoke.
Love it. So let's cut now, Gema. I'm sure Riley is going to say, "Come on, Gema, duet."
Yeah, I think they. I think at first they watched, they were watching, Harper's shenanigans, and when he flies off the horse, they just kind of shake their head and head in and stuff. But I'm not sure. It's going to take a lot of convincing or a lot of drink to get Gema to put herself out there like that, I think. So.
Fine. Riley, the stage is yours. What's the style of music that you're able to choose, do you think?
So I think Riley has not seen as many Zandoran Western movies as Harper has. I think there may be somewhat of a similar a direction going on where they're like, well, there's like those songs they have in those movies. I can do that, no problem. The versions on the jukebox here aren't quite the ones I know.
Okay. I think I'm interested here. How do you think mechanically? Socialize and listen, but you're not really seeking opportunity. So I think this is face adversity with influence. Yeah,
sure.
Because in part, it's as much how you sell it as how you sound. So go for it. That's an 8 on the dice. I can't remember. Your influence is high, isn't it?
Yeah, my influence is 2, so that's a 10.
Oh, there are standing ovations. You know, that's more. You have to do it again. You know, drinks are put on the table for you. These out-of-towners aren't bad after all. Anybody want to do anything else with the evening, or do we screen wipe to the following day?
I think at some point after Riley doing karaoke, when Harper is like able to like get back to the bar and it's like drinking to for his pity, he like tells the Riley diddly the story that, you know, I've heard the rumors that the locals are saying is that there is something on the South Pole that you can get inside the planet.
And at the moment, I think, Riley, you think you could do no wrong.
Inside the planet at the South Pole?
Yes, they said that the rumor is that the planet didn't came from here, that it was moved. Or maybe the planet is the spaceship as a whole, and that on the South Pole can like get in the planet.
Oh my God, we should do that.
We should absolutely do that. Yes. Well, put that on the bucket list. Gema, anything else this evening?
No, I think they are just nursing the drinks, and I do think, you know, non-mechanically there is again the sense of loss, the sense of, you know, with all this camaraderie and everything, and they've put themselves a little bit outside of it, but they're still more of that inner struggle around what they lost by leaving.
Yeah, I get that. The following morning, the train is due early. And so I'm seeing you there with the station master. Doc Johnson's turned up just to see how this goes. And I'm imagining the train is a little bit like one of those Australian road trains, except it runs on rails. So, you know, it's got a big kind of drive engine at one end and a drive engine at the other end, and a string of carriages, one of which is for passengers. The others are all freight. Containers, not unlike the one that you're transporting. So, you know, pulls in and, you know, between you and the train guys and the station master, this container is lodged on one of the flatbeds of the train and secured down. And I suppose the question I have to ask is, you're expected to travel with it. But Gema, I don't know. Are you going to sit in the passenger compartment? Or are you going to sit on the top of the container? I just have, you know, a vision of this sweeping into the prairie with Gema sat on top of it. But I like that, and it feeds into the isolation as well. So while Riley and Harper get to sit in the passenger compartment, yeah, and off it goes. And Doc Johnson waves you farewell. Station master says, "Don't you worry about your contraption; it'll be here when you get back." Gesturing at the shuttle, which you'll have locked up tight. And no one, it's going to take a lot of effort for somebody locally to get in there. So you needn't worry about that, I think. And off you go into the rising sun. And you've been traveling for maybe an hour or two. Gema, you are all in comms. So that's that, you know, you can use local comms. Gema, it is beginning to wake up. It's fair to say. You know, it kept it out overnight. You are not going to arrive at your destination until dusk tonight, so you are likely to need to give it a shot again. The question is whether you want to delay giving it a shot until the last minute and be certain it's asleep when you arrive, or whether you want to go early and risk it being awake when you arrive. What are you thinking, Gemma? Because you're, the person on the spot.
Right. So, they can obviously, sitting up on top, they sense obviously the movement and so I think they ping Riley on the comms and say, hey, it's starting to wake up. Should we sedate it again?
Oh, I do some quick calculations and come to basically the conclusion you said. Well, I think we're gonna have to pick awake now or awake later.
It's not fully awake, let me be clear. It is waking up.
Right.
So I'll keep an eye on it. And would Gema be, I think they were the one that shot it administered in the first place. So I think, does Riley need to be there for that, or did we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a two-person operation. Might even be a three-person operation because Doc Johnson was there as well. Remember?
True. Well, I'll keep an eye on it, and if it starts to get frisky, I'll call you down, and we can administer the.
Great.
Because I'm assuming I think we're fairly confident that it's a simple act of just administering it again, right? And because it worked well the first time.
What could go wrong? Exactly.
What could go wrong? Indeed.
Did we establish whether we did anything to repair the bolts once we put it to sleep last night?
I think the difficulty you've got is on this planet, in this backwater, finding a way to seal it shut, to weld the material is going to be a challenge.
Got it.
So off you go across the prairie. Harper, it was a good night. Do you sleep through the journey, or do you have other plans for the journey?
Sleep.
Okay. Riley, you also had quite a good night. Sleep through the journey, or have you got other plans for the journey?
I think I have to remember that someone said something to me about the South Pole last night, and so I might try and do some reading on that, but probably also rest.
Okay. Gemma, then, let me come to you and ask you to roll with precision, please.
All right. Let's see. Five.
What do you do when somebody shoots at you?
That's a plot twist. So we've established that it's kind of like open, right? So it's not like it's more like the kind of shipping containers that come off ships, right? So it's been just slotted right into the thing. And we're basically, so does it hit her, or?
No, you come under fire.
Okay.
It's coming from behind you on one side. And I don't know, maybe you were meditating, daydreaming, looking down, because this thing is kind of, getting a little bit more active.
Yeah, I think obviously they have been, they were probably, you're right, they were probably, daydreaming, or at least just like at the same kind of feeling as when we approached the planet. They felt wow, a person could get lost here, right? And just kind of daze off. And then as soon as I imagine that all of a sudden, the projectiles are striking,
Boom, boom,
around
boom.
her and her or them, and they probably instinctually, flatten themselves, to make themselves them less open, and starts to kind of reconnoiter around to try to find the source of the shooting.
Okay, and the hard move is that the other bolt on that side gets shot off. The side of the container flaps open. And so the train is running through the distance with this thing kind of flapping on the side, and the Velociraptor stroke T-Rex is groggy, shall we say. Riley, you can see the people who are facing the other way, back the way you've come, are kind of looking out the window, kind of like, and there's somebody coming. There's somebody coming. What do you do?
I look to see what they're looking at.
You can see, and Gema, you'll see this as well from once you throw yourself flat and have a look around. You can see a couple of, how would I describe these? I can't use dune buggy, but certainly kind of four-wheel drives speeding up, traveling faster than the train from behind, with people with guns leaning out the windows. It appears to be a train robbery.
Do I also see the open container flapping in the wind?
I think you can just see, it's like a couple of cars back. You can just see it flapping open.
All right, I think I'm gonna sort of try and shake Harper awake and be like, good news, we're in the name of some famous Zandoran train heist movie. And then I'm going to try and make my way back to help Gema.
So Harper, it appears that there is robbery in progress, in the sense of these things are chasing down the train. And that's when you begin to feel the train decelerating. What do you do, Harper? I know what Riley's doing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to run to the front to see why the train is slowing, because we probably want to be speeding up. So I run toward the front.
And I think you get to the front of the passenger car, you step out of that, and you look around to one side, because of course this is separate train carriages with a connector in between, and you look out and you can see that the track ahead has been blocked. Looks like somebody's dragged some tree trunks across the track, and that's why the driver has put the brake on.
Yeah, nothing I can do about the standard Western block the tracks.
Okay, let's cut to Gema. So you've seen these, and they seem to be speeding up. It looks like they're aiming to get a couple of cars ahead of you, where the passenger compartment is.
All right, so I think I've been thinking this time about there's two things happening here, right? The door blew open, right, and the thing, and so there's this, and then there's this thing, but I think they prioritize the bandits at this moment, and so I think, well, because I think they probably feel that they could dispatch planet-side bandits pretty quickly and then deal with whatever is happening there. So I think they will, once the initial they flatten themselves, and then they'll come up and then ideally, cinematically that would start firing on one with the idea of take out the vehicle and then turn to do the other one. Don't know if those are two separate actions or what. Maybe it depends on how successful they are. I
think let's see how it goes. So you're trying to hit the vehicle. What's your intention here? To shoot the people?
I think the intention is to knock the vehicles out.
Okay.
Just kind of destroy the vehicles.
Okay.
Doesn't really care if it kills them or not. Just stop I think if they could stop the vehicle, that's the immediate threat.
Okay. Well, I think this is pick off foes with precision. So roll plus precision.
All right. Now that I got that 2 and 1 out of the way, we'll 9.
9. On 7 to 9, the fight plays out as a 10 plus, but you'll get hurt or cause collateral damage. Ooh, right. So I think that the GM describes the enemy attacks in action. So as I say, they appear to be trying to come up to the passenger compartment. And as the train slows down, clearly then they'll be able to get on the train. And it looks like one of them is aiming to get to the front of the passenger compartment. One of them is aiming to come up to the back of the passenger compartment. Describe how you defend yourself. Well, to be honest, apart from just shooting up the train, they're not really shooting at you. So I don't think you're at risk here particularly. How do you put the hurt on and how do you take them out? Victory is yours.
Okay, so I think obviously they had flattened themselves, and I think as soon as they determined to do this, they basically pop right up, not really worried about their own, and just very efficiently, you see them, bam, 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 right into the front of the vehicle, and I think you see that sort of thing where it kind of rolls out of control and dumps, and then turns and goes right at the other one, same thing, and they just kind of peel off. And I had, am I choosing harm to myself or collateral damage, or are you choosing that?
That's a good question. The fight plays out as a 10 plus, but you'll get hurt and or cause collateral damage. I think that I can't see how you can get hurt much here, to be honest, because they're not shooting at you.
Well, okay, yeah. So if they're not shooting at me, I'd had an idea that if they were shooting at me, that I fell into the cage. But if they're not shooting, I'm not sure how that plays out. But I'm at your mercy.
No, that is much better than what I had in mind. The collateral damage, I think, is that the thing, the 4-wheel drive kind of cartwheels, but it cartwheels into the side of the train, derailing the train. So everything, lots of shaking about, and that's what flips you over the side into the container with the dinosaur. Yeah. Riley, in order to get there, you have to get out of the passenger compartment and then up and past one container to this container. You set off immediately, so I think this is before Gema takes out one of the SUVs. So I think that you're on top of the intervening carriage, or did you prefer to go along the side? Or indeed underneath?
I think I'm along the side.
Okay, let's have you then. I think this is probably face adversity with either agility or might. Is this about hanging on through sheer strength, or is this managing to ride out the derailment? So roll with precision or force. The choice is yours.
I think I'm leaning precision because I feel like that's more how Riley would approach it, aside from my force being worse than my precision. All right, that is a 9.
So you get one thing you wanted, which is that you get past that You are still on the train, but the GM fully enacts existing dangers or introduces new ones. I think you are going to get caught by some of the kind of fallout from this derailment. So it's going to stay upright, but I think I'm going to apply a couple of points of stress to you.
Sure.
And I'm not sure that any kind of protection is going to make any difference to that, because I think you're just all shook up. Harper, you're at the front of the passenger compartment, and that's the four-wheel drive that Gema didn't take out. It must be said it veers away as the train comes off the track, but you can see that, as you're grinding to a halt, they are swerving back towards you. What do you do?
The question is, do I need to somehow survive the derailment, or is that already done?
I think you're okay. I think you're more protected than Riley was, who was hanging to the side of a carriage.
Yeah. Well, as it's a very often sight, I strip down to my stealth suit and I blend in with the train to see what the guys are up to and take my opportunity to somehow ambush them.
Okay, so there's a degree of chaos in the passenger compartment. People screaming, and then it grinds to a halt as the wheels drive into the grassland. And they've swerved the car around. They're coming back towards where you are on the edge of the passenger compartment. And you judge that they are going to get out of the car and come up onto that little kind of platform that you are stood on. So you could just step away and wait for them to go into the carriage and come at them behind.
Yeah, probably like this. I will let them get inside and then see because I don't see a reason to interfere with them if they're not after us, or I don't know. I'm just curious what they are here to do. So I'm definitely stealthing up and seeing if who they will start asking for, or would they be just robbing everyone from everything, and then maybe take action.
Okay, Gema, you get to your feet, and this big head kind of turns, and kind of one eye is looking at you. What do you do, Gema?
So I'm assuming that obviously the tranquilizing kit is not at hand, because it probably wouldn't be in there.
I think that's probably true. We don't know where it is right now. It was on top.
Right. I I have an idea. So I'm thinking, what if she just tried to punch it to knock it out?
Well, I'm prepared to have her try to do that. It always says in the orders training manual, hit people in the ear, and you can see this kind of flap of skin, which is where their hearing is. So I'm prepared to give that a shot.
I just think they know they don't want to kill it, right? Because they're trying to get it there.
Yeah, you still haven't been paid.
Yeah, they have a gun and a knife, and so I think maybe the thought is can I try to disable it and just going to try to marshal all of their skill and strength and just try to punch it and knock it out.
Okay, and I think wham, you punch it, and that's where we take a 5-minute break to find out what happens after you come back. Shall we say 5 past the hour? See you then. So we come back from the commercial break, and in my mind are 2 or 3 different things we come back to, which depend on how the dice fall. I think given its size, I think I have to have you roll with disadvantage because it's a big beast with a very bony head. So let's have you roll with disadvantage, the combat roll with force.
And may I ask, not trying to, I'm okay with that improvement that I took for martial arts.
Oh,
again, it says ignoring all but the most extreme disadvantages. This may be, right? It's a freaking dinosaur, right? I mean, so I'm okay with that. I just didn't know. I like the disadvantage, though. I'm okay with that.
I think knocking a dinosaur unconscious is probably going to stick with disadvantage.
A little extreme.
I think it's an extreme disadvantage. Yeah,
I'm a-okay with that. Oh, here we go.
Oh, so you're going to throw away the best dice, which is a 2, viewers. Oh wow, I wasn't ready for that one. Okay.
Neither was I.
Uncontrolled, indiscriminate violence happened. The GM decides to whom. Riley, as you're making it to the end of the car between you and where this is happening, and there's a roar, and you see Gema propelled out of the side of the container. I think now, I've put some guide for harm here. I think this is heavy weapons explosive. I think this is 4 points of harm, Gema. The armor will count. Because you punch it in the head, and the eye kind of moves towards you, and then it goes bang, and you're flying out the side of the car.
So do you work through stress first?
Yes.
And then into, okay.
Yeah, you don't mark a wound until stress is filled. So you've got three plot armors, if you like.
All right. I will be marking a wound. So the armor takes away 1 of the 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and let me make it, because Pavel, you've also marked a wound. You took 2 stress, so you're not wounded yet.
I just felt that this is like really appropriate because we decided that the shield didn't really work, so I felt that this is like appropriate to take one on one.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you want to, but you don't need to, because a wound is a fairly significant thing in this game.
I don't know. Do I roll like everything at disadvantage while wounded, or what?
You would be disadvantaged if that's relevant, and I don't think fall from a horse onto a car top and rolling off. It was meant to injure your dignity as much as anything else.
Okay.
Whereas being butted out of a cargo container by a small tyrannosaur strikes me as more serious. And so, yeah, so wound description, Gema. What form does this take? Is this broken arm? Is this, you tell me.
Yeah, so I had in my head when what you were describing, I kind of saw that, the punch, and it just kind of looked, and then all of a sudden, and its tail just, I didn't even see it, right? They didn't even, and it just flung around the thing. And so I actually see like broken ribs or something like that, like taking it full in the chest and then hitting the ground, probably not knocked out, but definitely the wind, the wind knocked down of them and everything. So.
Okay, put broken rib in there, and we can work with that. So Riley, that's what you see. And then, because the train is now stationary, then its head comes out kind of just beside you there, and the eye kind of focuses on you. What do you do, Riley?
I'm going to try. Do we know where the tranquilizer gun is?
No. Do you want to seek an opportunity in an attempt to find out?
Yeah, I think I need to try and find that.
Okay. So you're hanging on the side of this, and you're desperately trying to see between the 2 cars. Is it on the other side? Is it on this side? If not, it's probably still on top. So let's have you seek opportunity with observe discreetly, roll plus precision.
All right.
Unless precision. You have a move that does this better.
I don't think this is really analyze.
No, nor do I have to say.
Oof.
Tell me you have 2 in precision.
My precision is 0.
That's a 5. Okay. Then let me see. You've become tangled in a bad situation, can't back out. This thing, still groggy, kind of crawls out and is now focused on you, Riley. It was focused in that piece of prey that it just knocked out onto the ground over there, but now its attention is fully on you, Riley. Okay? Harper, at the other end of the train, so to speak, they just go straight past you. They are focused on something else. They're not looking for you. They don't expect to find you. So the stealth just gives you cover out there. Okay?
Yes. I think it's time I make myself useful because I'm completely useless in this situation. So I would like to take a look at them and how they're clothed and their car they arrived, and maybe like identify them. I was looking at our who am I? Are these like syndicates?
I see. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I need to make you roll for this. I'll be honest with you. I think that I can describe them as they look like the locals. They look like the locals. They are probably scruffier. They look disreputable. They look like local criminals, I think is what I tell you. These are not smooth hitmen. There's a driver who got out of the car and headed to the front of the train and is holding a gun on the driver. The other 4 have come up to the end of the and have gone inside. They're all armed. 2 of them with handguns, 2 of them with shotguns.
Okay, but they seem to be moving forward. It doesn't seem like they're like robbing everyone on their way.
They've just my question is, do you let them get past you to the rest of the passengers? Then you might learn something about what they're doing.
Yeah, yes, I'm going to let them pass, and then I'm going to go behind the last guy, and I'm going to shoot the last guy with my gun to freeze them, and then I'm going to like partially decloak from the top so that they can see me in my black suit, and I'm going.
Well, let's take this in steps, shall we? So they go past you. They enter the carriage, and the guy at the front says, "Okay, everybody, stay down." And of course, there's the guard there who's saying, "Hey, fellas," and he says to the guard, "You know what I'm here for, old man? Open it up." That's when you have your opportunity to shoot the guy behind. Do you take it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm guessing that you are going to use, where is it? Prey.
Yes, let's do it like that.
I think you are taking from the vulnerable because he doesn't know you're there. He's not expecting it. Roll plus precision.
I wonder, can I like bargain for advantage because I'm like.
I think the advantage is that you get to use that move.
Yeah, I'm in line with everyone else so far. It's a solid 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gee whiz. The victim is aware of your intent and might even turn the tables on you. Maybe, I don't know, what tipped him off when you stepped up behind him?
I think the cold aura of the gun that is probably emanating, and it's like really weird to find such anything cold in this place.
Right, and he spins round, and then of course the outline becomes clear, and he says, "What the fuck?" And he points a gun in your direction. Now, I think you'd be rolling with advantage if you did something. Or maybe you could, I don't know. Yeah, that seems to be the option here. But there's a gun on you. If you do something, you are at risk of harm. While you're thinking about it, cut back to Riley. What are you going to do, Riley?
Right. Space has its attention on me.
Yes. The eyes, they're mostly on the side of the head, but the pupils are definitely straining towards you.
I think I'm going to start by trying to scramble up on top of whatever this container next to it is. Just maybe a little further out of the way.
Okay. So that sounds like facing adversity with agility here, precision.
All right. Hopefully this works better. It's still a 5.
It's gee whiz. It's because Joe used up both those 6s and a 5 very early on. So things go sideways painfully. As you're going up, it goes at you. You kind of rear away, lose your grip on the ladder, and you fall down to the ground. I think I'm going to give you 2 points of harm for that.
All right.
That seems to be the standard falling damage in this game now.
All right. That brings me to a wound.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. So what's the medium to longer term effect, Riley?
I think I land like on some of the wreckage of that car that Gemma shot before.
Yes.
And so I get sort of like cut up or burned a little bit.
Okay. Let's go with burns. Yeah. Okay. Gemma, you're kind of getting to your feet. Oh, I'm getting to your feet. Oh, and you see that happen. What do you do?
Yeah, so I think they see, Riley falls. So Riley's in pretty significant danger. And stuff. I think they are going. So I think they're going to attempt to seize control of the situation. So I'm going to try to lean into my Vanguard move, but I think they are just going to damn the torpedoes. They're going to rush and try to tackle the thing, like get around, just do anything to keep it and try to gain control of the situation.
Okay, even if it's just get its attention.
Yeah. So,
I think that is going to be harder while your ribs are giving you such trouble. So I'm going to make you roll with disadvantage.
Yeah, I was assuming disadvantage because of the.
Hang on, I'm just thinking. You have exceptional evasion power. No, it is fighting. Your martial arts is definitely about combat, not about anything else, is it? So I think with disadvantage.
All right. Our luck is gonna turn. I can feel it. Oh, fuck. That's a 5.
So we're going to discard the top dice there, a 3. So on a 5, the GM chooses one from the list above. No one controls.
So no, wait, 4. No, yeah, that's still a fail because I have a plus. It's 6. Yeah, but still.
Okay, so on a 7, on a 6 minus, GM chooses one from the list above. No one controls the situation. I'm going to block. No, hang on. I think I'm going to block Riley's exit. So this thing does indeed move towards Gemma. We see it kind of go out onto the side of the container as it gives under its weight, and it comes down onto the prairie. Its attention is on Gemma, but Riley, you're just kind of looking up from among this wreckage. But there's only one place you can go from here, and that's up the side of the container. There's no way past it to the front or sides. Yeah? Harper.
Well, since we are both aiming at ourselves, I think I am going to say Zandoran Secret Service. We are all surrounded. The driver is already in our custody. Drop your guns before we shoot you down. And I'm trying to say it all calm, like I'm the boss here. Like I'm controlling the situation.
Have you revealed yourself, or is this just because we've described it a bit like the Predator stealth suit? Is this just a slight kind of discontinuity in the background?
Yes, I'm dropping. Yes, I'm dropping the stealth. I wonder what is more intimidating at this point. I think I make it more blurry so that they know that there is someone, but they have no fucking idea who it is. So that
just
looks more intimidating.
This patch of, he's looking behind you is the door that leads outside, and he's looking at this kind of slightly discontinuous view, where you start and the view past you ends. There's kind of just, it's, I think that I am going to let you roll with advantage. I think, I don't know, seek opportunity. No, I think this has to be truth and lies. Face adversity with influence, but you can roll with advantage because this is freaky. What the fuck, says the guy, as this blurry shape speaks.
Okay, some dice are with us. It's a 9.
Oh, it's a 9. So he is certainly, he doesn't shoot you. Yeah, I think he's going, what? But the GM fully enacts existing dangers or introduces new ones. And I think the guy behind him turns around as well. So now 2 of them, one behind the other, facing you, both armed, but you've bought yourself some time. What do you want to do with that time, Harper?
I don't see any success that I achieved.
Well, he didn't shoot you, and I didn't enact harm, which is take 3 points of harm. You can have the 3 points of harm if you really want it.
Well, there's nothing else I can do. I just start blasting at them.
Okay, fine.
Seems we are not getting anywhere else anyway, so I'll just start blasting them.
Okay. Gema, you've got its attention, but Riley, you can just see Riley kind of staggering to their feet behind this thing. And Riley, I think almost certainly the tail is sweeping back and forth just to put you at some physical risk. What are you going to do, Gema? It is still groggy.
Okay, so Gema is trying to keep its attention on them, maybe backing away a little bit from Riley, and she's going to say to Riley, maybe your drones can distract it?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Give me a second to get out of this fire.
So Riley, what do you do with your drones?
So I've noticed that my camera drone, in addition to recording, can play back. So I think I have set my camera drone to play sounds from some kind of zoological documentary as it flies in some direction away from both me and Gema, in the hopes that the velociraptor will think that there is something interesting it could chase over there.
Okay, so you are playing prey noises.
At least what I think are prey noises.
Fine. I think, I think this might be analyze a subject or anomaly to identify a flaw or weakness.
Good idea.
To make it more interesting. It is groggy, so I'm going to let you roll with advantage.
Cool.
Not that that's worked very well today.
All right. So I rolled a 3, 5, 1, so I can throw out the 1. So that's an 8 plus my mind of 2 is 10.
10. 7 plus. Choose a line of questioning. A flaw or weakness. The flaw or weakness you get is that is a prey animal, and it recognizes the weakness of the prey animal from that noise, I think. And I don't have to introduce any kind of threats or anything else. It begins to move away from you towards the drone. It's groggy. It can't pick out the drone. It's just heading towards the noise of weakness.
Cool. I'm trying to keep the drone moving enough that it'll, keep it distracted for a little while before it just eats it.
Harper, do you shoot him?
Of course.
Okay. So I will let you roll with advantage because I think they are still confused. Face adversity with might or violence. Roll plus force.
Let's do it. It's an 8.
8. You can have one of them. You can freeze one of them. Do you want him frozen to the ground, or do you want to pull the first one, which was cause his body to shatter under the tensions of cold?
If I freeze him to the ground, they can still shoot me because they are having firearms. So I think this is like freezing the core, and whatever happens with him, that's on him.
Fine. I think that we'll have a similar thing that happened the first time you used the freeze gun on screen, which was that you freeze him and his eyes go wide and then he fractures into lumps of meat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the guy behind fire wildly into the doorway. So sure. I think I owe you an opportunity to dive for cover if you want to.
I think we are going very deep into task resolution right now, dodging and stuff.
I just want to know what you want to do.
Stay there because he can. Maybe I face my profile to him because they don't really know exactly where I am.
Exactly.
Just limiting my side view.
Okay, take 1 point of stress, I think. And I cut back to Gema. Riley has climbed out of the wreckage, discomforted, but free. And this thing is kind of low on the ground, eyes focused, nose, ears, trying to work out where's the prey. What do you do, Gema?
They're going to scramble towards the car to try to find. They're going to try to find the tranquilizer.
Okay, I think that unless you've got anything better, that is seek an opportunity with rummage and tinker, or observe discreetly. Precision or hardware? Take your pick.
I would prefer precision.
Go for it then. Did you spot where it went when you went off the side of the vehicle?
And then am I still at disadvantage for these things?
Oh, yeah. I think to spot it, you're not.
Okay. All right. 11.
There it is.
Our luck is turning.
Do you want this to? I have to say I hate these bullet points on 10 plus. Because I don't see why any of those enrich the plot at the moment. So I'm not going to use them.
Yeah, I feel like for seek opportunity in the middle of a conflict like this.
It doesn't fly, does it? No. Okay. So there it is, Gema. It came down the same side of the road train as of the train as you did, and that Riley is. So what do you do?
I think they want to get it as quickly as they can, and then attempt to, tranquilize the dinosaur. So whether I don't know if we had established how close they have to be so
No,
if
we hadn't.
Okay.
A dramatically appropriate distance is the range of that weapon. So it is a two-person operation. Riley to try to make sure it's still working, and Gema to actually point the thing. So I think the way we did this last time, Riley got to roll the dice, but with advantage because Gema is firing it. That said, I think the disadvantage of the ribs cancel the advantage, making this an ordinary shot, not at disadvantage. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So
That's
roll
reasonable.
flat, just roll with mind, Riley.
All right. My mind is +2. I rolled a 9. +2 is 11.
Bang. And there's that kind of, it's already groggy, and it kind of looks back along its body at you and begins to turn around. Harper, what are you going to do? Screaming, chaos in the carriage now because a guy just exploded.
What a mess. I talk to them. I can shoot them, but there's chaos. No idea.
I'll come back to you. So Gema, it is turning back around. You've attracted its attention again. It's ignoring the drone now, and but it is wobbling back and forth. And I think at the point where it begins to move towards you, bang, it's down on the ground. Any further thoughts, Harper?
Yeah, let's kill the guy that shot at me.
Okay, so let's have you face adversity with, I think, agility or stealth. I think precision works here because you are in a stealth suit trying to shoot them while they just pepper the back wall of the carriage.
Okay, let's do it, and then maybe we can try to talk them down. Where's the damn roller? Here.
Sorry, you can roll with advantage because you are still a very difficult target.
Wow. Yes. So that means it's a 12.
Oh, then kill or freeze in place. Freeze their feet to the ground.
I think I want to like freeze their hand with the gun, like entire like gun, like and the hand like covered with like a thick ice.
And this is all happening out of nowhere. What happened? What do you do?
Are they like? Is it like chaos? Are there like people like running away or like?
I think people are heading towards the far end of the compartment. So any civilian who was already standing up is running. Has run, I think, to be honest. I think that we know that the guy at the front with a shotgun said to the guard, you know what I'm here for, old man. Unlock it.
And I think he's the only one left standing, the guy with the shotgun.
I think that's true. And he's at the far end of the carriage with people thronging between you and him. And he's with the guard.
Yeah. So I guess I'll have to like move slowly toward him and then try to surprise him. And the guy with the frozen hand, I will just like let him ponder his situation.
I think that's all because he's seen what happened to his friend, and he can see, gently thawing lumps of his friend, and he's looking at this and thinking, and so he's cradling it. He's afraid in case it shatters. The easiest way to get the other guy is not to go past him and the rest of the people in the compartment. It's to go round to the other entrance because he's at the far end of the compartment. And his attention is this way.
Sure, that makes total sense. So I'm going to go out, get on the roof of the carriage, and walk to the other side, and then drop down and enter the carriage from the other side.
Okay. Is this? I'm just trying to see whether roll to infiltrate when you sneak into an area, whether that gives you any benefit. I'm thinking if you succeeded and set up an action, that could be having him cold, having him under the gun.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
As he's leaving.
So you go over the top, and let's have you sneak into the far end. Roll with precision.
Another 12.
You're coming good at the end, guys. Coming good at the end. So on a 10 plus, choose which opportunity you seize.
Yeah, set up an action trigger later. So probably I want to wait for him to be leaving through this door, and I just as he's leaving, then I just want to don't want to freeze him. Oh my god, I have no idea what's happening with the rest of my team. Jesus.
I think from the top of because you went over the top of the carriage. So I think from the top of the carriage, you can see that they are and you will see the creature just go down, drugged.
Okay, yeah. So as the guy opens the door and starts to leave, I want to also freeze his hand or something. Probably he will be grabbing to some railing to go down to the ground or something, and just freeze him in this position.
Set up an action triggered later. I think that's what you do, and he literally freezes. I think that's a good point to break today, to be honest. We've got an unconscious dinosaur, and we have two surviving. I suppose the driver is still up and going, but I think at this point we'll see that driver get into the four-wheel drive and disappear into the distance, because I think he knows that this has not gone entirely according to plan. For whatever reason, he doesn't know what went on the other side of the train. And we will pick up next time with a couple of prisoners and an unconscious dinosaur. Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. A swift stars and wishes. What we decided last time, Pavel, is that we can do stars and wishes on the session, but we're only going to do feedback on the rules offline every couple of sessions because we've kind of been around the tree enough. So a quick stars and wishes. Let me go right to left just because it's novelty. Joe, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah, I think I'm stars. I like I think Pavel led us down this Wild West thing, and I really think that was fun and in the flavor of the sort of the Firefly / type stuff, right? Which was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed the and thought that it was right in line with Harper to be like a kid in a candy store a little bit about the whole thing, right? It's this is just like the movies, right? And stuff that was awesome. And then I really Riley's wheeling and dealing and the sort of quick talking and I really enjoyed the techno babble moment of just there's an old Dilbert cartoon where the boss asks a question and then they start droning on and the Dilbert says, well, yeah, basically they're all asleep at the end, right? And so that's what it reminded me of. And so yeah, no, I thought this was I don't know if I have any. My wish would be I think it would be interesting for us to chase down the rumor about these aren't natural planets and there might be something more to it. I think that would be fun if possible for us to chase that down. So
okay, what about you, Gray? Any stars, any wishes?
I agree. I like how we leaned into this Wild West situation. I thought it was cool how the team sort of worked together and dealt with the natural consequences of this ridiculous dinosaur situation we've gotten ourselves into. And
Any wishes for next time?
I also think it would be fun to chase down the South Pole rumor.
Okay, looks like a trip to the South Pole's on the cards. Pavel, any stars, any wishes?
I really enjoyed the flip on the train robbery, with us being in the train and not really the target, but someone else trying to rob the train we are in. So I really like the trope. I finally get to walk on the roof because I was waiting for the opportunity to walk on the roof of the train. It was not moving, but I did it. So yeah, that's the thing.
Tell you what, the camera moves really fast past you to give the impression. Yes,
I'm really happy that we managed to get some sciencey stuff going in this mission of the dinosaur. I really enjoyed that we are switching the planet, even though I wasn't in last time. We're switching the planet, so that's I really like different biomes. That's what I wanted to see. We were the space bar, which was another of my interests, so that's another star. I really like the idea of the karaoke.
Thank you for giving me the material today, because I knew that this did not go the way I anticipated. I have to tell you, I thought I was going to do something else with the dinosaur, but that was just so much fun. But yes, I was looking at what Star should have said. I didn't mention we have been playing with safety tools. Cardinal rule in Gauntlet games: mention the safety rules. We have been playing with lines and veils, the X card, the open door, the Gauntlet code of conduct. And one of the things that was interested was a heist and space bars and different planets. So certainly trying to lean into that. But yeah, no, you gave me the Wild West today. And I'm glad I didn't force Harper to play a card game he didn't want to play, and instead got to ride a horse and fall off it. And I loved the karaoke. Great. I thought it was a delightful idea. And Joe, Gema is so sad. Oh, I'll no, it's okay. I'll just sit with the dinosaur. It's just so sad. And thank you for trying to punch out a dinosaur. That was just fantastic. My wishes, we got plenty of time because we got another 4 sessions. So I think we've certainly got time to experiment with the idea of the Hollow Earth, or the Hollow Zandora. But I am quite keen at some point to have a spaceship encounter. So that's on my horizon, just so you know. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording there.